Hello and thanks for joining us on today's music show. Coming up in the programme. Taking her seat at the table, Solange Knowles unleashes a strong political message on her latest record. The Placebo effect hasn't worn off yet. 2 decades later, the indie-goth group release an album of their greatest hits.
Don't know why.
And blues, jazz and soul till the early hours, Natalia M joins us in the studio to talk about blending standards with her own compositions. Natalia, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Of course, I'm joined by Mariam Saab, our music critic as well. Now, Natalia, just to start off with your musical career, it's been a bit of a journey. It started in Brooklyn, and then you were a bit of a nomad in the States, I believe. You've relocated to Paris, and what has the City of Lights brought to your sound?
The City of Lights gave me a new birth, if I can say that. I was born once through the womb of my mother, and then I was reborn through the music, thanks to a man named Daniel Richard, and it's brought the fact that people today know who Natalia M is. It's brought also light, I can say, and experience, and many things.
Oh, now this is this record, Bluezzin T'il Dawn, is
Right.
your second since what you've described as your artistic rebirth.
Right.
The first record off the back of that was Soul Blaz.
That's right.
Now that came after a period of self-imposed exile, 7 years of silence.
That's right.
Can you tell us about how you found your voice and how it's evolved on this record?
Well, I'll talk first about the 7 years of silence. I call it a sabbatical. I took a break from the music and I dove into life for personal reasons, for many reasons, and I think it was the best thing to do. I was at a space where I needed to rediscover myself, remember who I am, and it was necessary to do that, to kind of take the dive and plunge inside to see who I am, to then again plunge into the music and give it what it is today. So, I mean, I think it's good. It's good to lose oneself so that we can be refound.
And now we're going to take a look at a clip off of this album. Let's have a look at Natalia M.
Don't know why. Ain't no sun up in the sky, stormy weather. Since my man and I have not been together. He's spending all the time. Life is bad.
So that's Stormy Weather. It's actually an acoustic version of the song that's not on this record.
Exactly. It's an old friend, my Lucas, who decided to do something just artistically with me, and in fact, just to give it the spirit of the album, we did that. But it's not, unfortunately, not yet. Maybe we'll put it on later.
Now, you've worked with some jazz greats like trumpet player Stéphane Belmondo, we've had him on the show,
Absolutely.
and sax player Pierrick Pedron. Where do you draw your inspiration from?
Oh, I draw it from many things. If it's the voice, it can range anywhere from, let's say, Aretha Franklin to Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan to Jeff Buckley. And guitar-wise, my first guitar god was Jimi Hendrix. And, you know, now I'm more into B.B. King and Barney Kessel. So, I mean, it depends. It depends what day it is and where I'm at, and if I had a beer or not.
Now we're moving on to some new releases from the world of music. Solange Knowles has released her third studio album. That's called A Seat at the Table. Now you do wonder who's sitting around this very talented table.
What I wouldn't give to be invited to this dinner party. Well, it's been co-produced by neo-soul master Raphael Saadiq and Solange. The album features Lil Wayne, Q-Tip, The Dream, Dev Hynes, Andre 3000 and Kelly Rowland, just to name a few. Now, it's clear that Beyoncé is not the only one with the musical chops in the family. We all want a seat at the table because Solange is serving it up hot. Third time's a charm, and this record is not just a career high for the singer, but it's one of the best of the year. year. 3 years in the making, Solange had 21 tracks wrapped up in a bow by her 30th birthday. Now, this album is a statement on selfhood. It's about coming into her own as a black woman, especially on one of my favorite tracks on this record, Don't Touch My Hair. Everyone should listen to that one, it's fantastic. And it's also about reconnecting with her southern roots. Now, part of that is voicing her fury on race inequality in America, black people being killed at the hands of police. Now, there are a few titles on the record that touch on that, like Mad, Weary, an anthem for black empowerment, FUBU, which is For Us, By Us. Also on this album, there are interludes which punctuate the record, spoken word by Solange's father, Matthew Knowles, and her mother, Tina Knowles. They both open up about their experiences with racism. Also, Master P, a legendary rapper, talks about building an empire with the No Limits Records. Now, we're going to have a look at one of the songs from this album. This is Cranes in the Sky.
I tried to drink it away. I tried to put one in the air. I tried to dance it away. I tried to change it with my hair. I wear my credit card below. Thought a new dress would make it better. I tried to work.
Now, this album may be hard-hitting, but as you can hear, Solange's delivery couldn't be smoother. It's rounded out with licks of minimalist R&B. And I wanted to ask you, Natalia, the history of black struggle is tied to that of black music. Blues in particular, is that something you're conscious of when you're making music?
I don't think I think of the race issue while I'm composing, but definitely while I'm trying to transmit the emotion, I think that the black comes out. And I would say my experience as a black woman who grew up in America and just a black woman in general, the events that happen to you, the racist events that happen to you, they go into your blood and they go into your nerve and they go into your memory, and all that is emotion. So when the song is being sung, every experience that I've ever lived is being transmitted. So my black comes out, put it that way.
And that's a theme that, of course, Beyonce took up in that famous video Formation earlier this year. Now, we're moving on to something very, very different, going back to the 90s with British cult band Placebo. It's been 20 years in the business for them. How are they celebrating?
Well, they're cranking up the volume on 2 decades of their greatest hits. Music for outsiders by outsiders, according to the beautifully androgynous frontman Brian Molko. The 20 years of Placebo World Tour will see the band put their 7-album rock catalogue to work again after a run of the UK back in 2015. And they're also releasing A Place for Us to Dream, which is a 2-disc 36 compilation release, and Life is What You Make It, an EP. Within this EP, there are 3 covers, including Talk Talks, Life is What You Make It, iconic Australian guitarist Roland S. Howard's Luminescent, and Freak Power, which is a 90s group founded by Fatboy Slim's song number 6. Also on the album, an original Jesus' Son, Placebo's anthem for 2016. Now, religious imagery is found throughout Placebo's music. Brian's take on religion is that it's for people who are scared of ending up in hell, while spirituality is for those who've already been there. Let's take a look at Jesus' Son.
And I am unafraid and blissful. Here I come. I am unashamed of getting nothing done. I'm a cavalcade that tumbles one by one, but I'm okay, just like Jesus' Son. But
we're moving to live music now, a festival in the desert of California now. Instantly, I think of Coachella, but it's not that. It's called Desert Trip. The lineup is legendary. Mariam, who's there?
We've got Paul McCartney, Neil Young, Roger Waters, The Who, Bob Dylan and the Rolling Stones. It doesn't get much better than that. They've dusted off the classics in the desert. Now, the festival is actually produced by the same company that put on Coachella, and it's in the same place, which has led to kind of the funny moniker, Old Chella. That's what people are referring to this festival. 73-year-old rock icon Mick Jagger has poked fun of himself mid-set over the weekend, saying, "Welcome to the Palm Springs retirement home for genteel English musicians." Now, the rockers, of course, are timeless and their stars are far from fading. The Rolling Stones are far from retirement. They're actually releasing a new album. It's coming out December of this year. It's a blues record. You might be interested to know, Natalia. It's
going back to their roots, really, because that's where they started. I remember they really bonded over their love of blues, and they recorded this album. I think it's quite a bare bones thing. What do you make of the Rolling Stones doing blues, Natalia?
I think they're just going back to their roots. It's exactly what was said, is that they started there, and they've always admired it. And I think they've played with people from Buddy Guy to maybe even, I know B.B. King was U2, but they started bluesy, and they're just going back to their roots. So
Okay.
good for them.
The album is called Blue and Lonesome.
Okay. Now, we'll leave you with a little more live music, but this time it's live from the studio. Natalia, what will you be singing for us?
I'll be singing Traces in the Sand, one of the titles from my album.
Okay, well, thanks for joining us today, Mariam, as well. And Natalia's playing at the Jazz Club Étoile on the 14th and 15th of October. Do remember to check out our website for more arts and culture as well. Natalia, take it away.
Thank you. Thank you both.
November fall. Don't like this feeling at all. My mouth tastes of cigarettes, but no regret.